All right. Hey, it's Invisible Sunday. It's just after 3 o'clock. We're sorry we're starting a little bit late today, but technical difficulties for the win. So I am in Virginia now, and the lovely Joanne is visiting with me, and our server is not in Virginia. It's sitting at home in Michigan. And so we're trying to do all this from remote, and yeah, it's not working the way that we think it should. So anyway, our apologies for a little later than the normal start and a little less visually cool. But you know what? We're going to sit down and play some Invisible Sun anyway because Invisible Sunday. So, um, let's go ahead and reintroduce our cast here. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, Jeff, why don't you give us a little bit about yourself and your character, and remind everybody who's playing.
All right. My name is Jeff. I am Jeffrey Boring on the Discord, and I'm playing Albion Finch, a bizarre empath of the Order of Makers who walks with a secret companion. Uh, he is a friendly southern fella with an invisible friend who may or may not exist, but certainly keeps him company.
Awesome. Joanne, how about you?
Hey, Joanne. You can find me on Discord as Corsana or Angel Citadel Joanne. I'm playing Claire Thespian, a bizarre, gallant goetic who listens to the whispers.
Awesome. Kelton.
Hey everybody, I am Kelton, known on the internet as Fesnerax or Fesnerax the Fantastic. I'm most places. You can find me if you want to. Nobody will. But thank you all so much. I'm so excited for this show, and let's get this rolling.
And last but not least, Chris.
I'm Chris or Synth. You can find me here at Angel Citadel. I'm playing Sterling Price, a empath vant who, or an itinerant empath vant who splinters into fragments.
Awesome. All right. When last we left off on February 20th, it's ouch. That's just painful to say, you know? It hurts. Um, we had Claire and Billy and Sterling, and we went and visited Kudash, a weaver that lives in the Strange Glass district, and we dropped off a manuscript of plays with him. And he gave us a whole bunch of information and suggested that we we have our Visley go and check out a safety deposit box and some potential allies in the Order of Honed Thought. Let's see here. They they learned a little bit about a group that had resisted the thaw and preserved some knowledge at some great cost. They'd already met one of, and was now apparently scared of them, at least as Albion had found out. So there's some weird stuff going on with the Children of the Stacks. They learned about the Path of Suns, a series of towers, physical towers, to the south of Saturnine, and that those were used at one point in a magical ritual or two. Though there's not a whole lot of detail about that. and they went to Gamrose Tower where the safety deposit box was and ended up with some mage coins, some gem orbs, and a medallion. And got to see the nifty blood waterfall that was there. So at this point, I believe they had just returned to Claire's car, her home, the magic beetle that is bigger on the inside than on the out. And they had met an ant, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Does that sound right?
Sounds right to me. Yeah.
And they were going to give a portion of what they had found in the safety deposit box to Albion when he managed to find his way back from the shadow, which he has. You wake up the following day, and Rainey is kind of nipping at you, almost like he was worried that he wasn't going to see you again.
Well, good morning. I guess I've been away. I hadn't expected that, but uh, what's going on, fella?
You get the sense that he's a little agitated about um, the neighbor that you have now. Um, she's been gone and back and gone and back, and that kind of broke into his routine. And he doesn't do real well with that sort of thing. So he's still
Well,
getting used to her.
come on, let's go and see how she is and find out what's been keeping her so occupied.
You walk outside your bomber, and next to it is parked a rusted out Volkswagen Beetle.
I rap on the window and then presumably just go to open the door and step inside the house.
Okay. You open the back door and step inside, and you find yourself in a very large entryway. Um, the smell of croissants wafts towards you.
Excuse me, Claire, are you home?
Yes, come on in. Mind your step. The
There
floor
you are.
feels gritty. And when you look down, there's salt everywhere.
I see. I walk into what room is Claire occupying at the moment?
The dining room area.
Okay, I walk in and I reach down and pick up an invisible creature and set him on my shoulder and say, Rainey's not too keen on the salt, but how have you been? I have apparently been gone. I don't properly know how long I've been gone. Uh, has it been more than a day or two, or has it been a couple of months?
2 days.
You've been gone
Oh,
2 days.
2 days. My goodness. Felt like I'd been gone for 5 or 6 months while I was there. Time has a weird way of working in shadow, doesn't it? Um, well, it's good to be back. What did I miss? I'm told that you've been out and away quite a bit.
Yes, I've been. She kind of reaches up, rubs her face, and just looks kind of tired. I've had to work extra, and I found a couple of names, and I tried to summon them, and it exploded,
Oh,
which is why there's salt everywhere. Because when you summon something more powerful than the summoning circle, they don't like it.
I could see that. I could see that. One of the reasons I just never cared for summoning myself, but I'm glad to see that you're still intact, and as is your house. It's a bit bigger than I remembered.
Yeah, it's growing weirdly. Strange rooms keep showing up.
I I hear that is a thing that can happen. Well, um, what else have you been involved in? I don't imagine summoning is taking you away from the house too very much.
No, just work. I've been spending time with Billy. We spent a lot of time talking to Kudash and making plans, and we're looking forward to seeing what you come up with for the radio station.
Well, I have done a little bit of research, but honestly, getting sidetracked in Shadow was threw me off my game a bit. I did actually, while I was in Shadow, get very interested in radio, as, as though a dream had pushed me to study, but I'm afraid there's not an awful lot about radio in Shadow that translates well to the actuality. So, back to the drawing board, I'd imagine. Uh, I do need to look into a few things, but I still have my notes from apparently only a few days ago. And yeah, I'm interested in getting back into that.
I think Billy found some ideas on ways that y'all could hide the radio station too. Maybe we should go talk to him.
Oh, that does sound like a good idea. I haven't seen Billy. Well, I've seen Billy more recently than I imagined, but uh, yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. My first visit back to Shadow. Mm,
Yeah, I heard that's getting
But,
wild there.
well, not as wild as here, certainly, but it really is disorienting to get free, but then get pulled back in. In any event, yeah, I'd very much like to see Billy.
Sounds good. We'll walk that way.
We walk
So
that way.
I'm assuming since you're in the Fade, you're going to take a train to
Yes.
Fartown.
Mhm.
So you do that, and Fartown is as you remember it. You walk into the grand square through the archway, and there is a um, what appears to be almost a festival. Um, the the open area in front of the archway that connects Fartown to Greater Satyrine is filled with all manner of, you'd call it wildlife. I mean, it's not animals like you'd think of them, though. You see things like floating octopuses with bird wings and a beak. You see a strange mix of a tiger and a giraffe, and just even weirder animals. And they're all kind of milling around. Um, Not like they're on display, but like they decided to gather in the square because it's Tuesday.
Did somebody open a door to the green around here, or what is going on? Excuse me, sir. I find the closest uh, human person, presumably a Visley in Fartown.
Yeah.
Uh, can can you enlighten me about all of this?
Well, I presume that you've heard, of course, of um, the green, yes,
Mm, indeed.
and you know that there are things here that you cannot get in the green, and well, you know, you will occasionally see uh, convoys or I don't know that I'd call them so much tourists, but um, natives of the green coming here for trade or um, for commerce. They tend to come all at once. They don't seem to like coming here on their own. Not like Visley do there anyway. But yeah, yes, they're here. This is one such gathering, and he
And
kind
just
of
from the green.
he kind of his mustache as he's speaking kind of dusts itself across his lips, um, almost like it's got a life of its own, like it's affronted that you would even bother him with such questions. The man himself doesn't seem as bothered by it, but the mustache seems really affronted.
Well, I sure do hope that you have a pleasant day. And uh, any apologies, uh, or all apologies to your lip warmer. Didn't mean to offend. Uh, Claire, what do you imagine these denizens of the green bring to Fartown to trade with?
I have no idea. Maybe strange plants that they found?
Hmm. Now that does sound interesting. I think I'm gonna go talk to some folks and see about trading some orbs for some of their lovely ingredients. Been a
Okay.
while since I restocked my alchemy lab, and why don't I meet you back at the restaurant, the inconvenient restaurant? Perhaps we'll even run into Sterling there.
Sure, sounds good. I will go hunt up Billy. You have fun.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Claire, you go find Billy and Albion. What exactly are you looking for?
Uh, Anything that looks fascinating. He's looking for just it's not every day that you have the opportunity to perhaps trade for things that grow only in the green. So he's looking for plant ingredients or, like harvested biological animal ingredients.
There's tons of that. I mean, I guess more of the question is what is it that you're looking for plants to go in, or like
Uh, he is. Let me see what my finances look like. They're probably all right though. Uh, yeah, yeah. He's got a fair number of uh, uh, orbs to spend, and is just kind of looking to just kind of want peruse and buy whatever strikes his fancy. Some ingredients. I don't know, level 4, level 5 materials or ingredients for some sort of alchemy reagents, and maybe a few stabilizers.
okay. You are able to find all of those, as well as there is a small vial of oil that catches your eye. The oil is a very translucent green, and it glows even in daylight. And when you ask about it, the merchant, who is actually a cat, um, he stands on two legs and speaks, but he's definitely a cat. Um, Tells you that this oil is the extract of a plant that's only found in one of the half worlds that surrounds the green. And it has properties that allow one to see things that are hidden, not invisible things, but things that people wouldn't normally take notice of. For instance, if there's a forgetfulness spell or something that someone casts on an object that would normally cause people to not take notice of that item, this particular reagent is used in potions and even making items like glasses or things like that as a coating, to penetrate those kinds of effects.
Okay. Um, well, how much does it cost?
The cat picks it up and kind of looks at it and shakes a little bit. Yeah, I could see my way to parting with it for, say, 75.
I think that sounds like a reasonable request. I hand over 75 crystal, um, and pocket that. And
The cat takes the 75 crystal and they just sort of vanish.
oh, very well. I suppose he'd done all his business. Yeah, Albion just kind of wanders around for a little while longer before he heads over to meet with Claire and Billy at the Inconvenient Cafe.
Okay. You you see, some interesting species, you see some interesting things, but nothing else quite catches your eye the same way. And so you head over to the Inconvenient Cafe. Um, Sterling, you um, have uh, received a missive from the Vancian College stating that your initial examinations are going to be next week.
All right. I kind of just tuck it away like in one of my pockets, and I don't really like feel anything about it, I guess. Like I try like it's too much of a mix of different emotions to pick one. So my mind has picked nothing. And like as I put it away, I pull my hand back out and it's kind of like half splintered.
Okay.
So my hand is just this collection of like shattered looking blue crystal.
You feel like you could stand to calm down some, maybe a good meal.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Phineas know what's up. Show him the letter. Talk to him for a moment.
Okay.
Just kind of general stuff, and then be like, "Hey, do you want to come to the cafe with me?" Or
Um, no, not today. I've got some things I've got to do, but I'm happy to come support you when you have your examination, of course.
that, that's good to know. I'll bring you back a slice of pie or whatever they're selling. Honestly,
Wonderful, wonderful.
and I'll head off
Okay.
to the best diner in Fartown.
So at the Inconvenient Cafe, Claire, you and had gone and grabbed Billy, um, and you meet there about 10 minutes after you show up. Sterling walks through the door.
I actually walked through the back door because between them arriving and me arriving, the front door said closed. So I just
Okay.
walked in through the back.
So at this point, I'm going to draw a card before Albion gets there. And the card that we're going to draw is the Forbidden Game. Promotes blue, diminishes red, which it is the red sun, so it really diminishes red this time. Um, Notions, cats, clocks, wind, meanings are danger, intellect, strategy, and balance. The temptation to partake in the game is strong, but you know you shouldn't. It's dangerous. It's forbidden. It's far more than it seems. It may appear to be a simple diversion, a pastime, but it is so much more deeper, too much more engrossing, and so much more addicting. Some have lost their very souls to its intricacies. It's not just that people want to win, although that's a part of it. It's the game's complexities that draw them in. Every move is a colossal undertaking. The game is more intricate than the real world that it simulates. That's the impossible thing. The game is bigger on the inside than on the outside. It's bigger than the world in which it is played. So the three of you see each other.
Hey, how you doing? It's been a minute. I hate this place. I'm glad to see you here.
There's nothing too wrong with it. Not usually. Fancy seeing you guys again, though.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So why don't we all just sit down and have something to eat, have something to drink? I got a question for you, Albie. Um, but there's a lot going on. Maybe we can all just sit and talk for a minute.
So yeah, it takes about 10 more minutes after Sterling shows up, but then Albion shows up as well.
I am so sorry. I thought everybody was there.
Not quite, but yeah.
Nailed it.
Now everybody's there.
Yeah, Albion just walks in. He's got a couple of bags with him. Sets them to the side and sits down next to Sterling. Well, how's everybody? It's good to see you, fellas.
Great to have you back.
Good to be back. I'm getting real old in shadow. But
Did
it's
you
good to wake up and feel
did
able-bodied
you
again.
spend some more time in Shadow?
Yeah, I sure did. I was there. Well, I thought it was months and months, and perhaps it was there, but came back and it's been 2 days, so
Really? See, that keeps happening to me, like all the time.
it can,
I
seems like. Is it
am.
is your life in shadow okay? Mine was
No,
mostly
it's
pleasant.
terrible.
Okay, well, I hate to hear that, but
I mean,
mine was
I'm literally, uh, when I go back to Shadow, I'm literally in an asylum and pretty much being abused by people that have power over me. It's terrible.
that sounds genuinely awful. I
Yeah.
wonder what. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're all here. Um,
You know what? This is real. I'm just gonna pretend that I accept that. Like, this is real. We're fine. Um, I do have some questions for you, but Sterling, it's been a minute.
It
Let's
has.
all just hang out and, like have lunch, whatever. Let's do that for a minute.
You?
Is
Albion orders the special. Whatever it happens to be, it'll be terrible, but he'll uh, he'll politely poke at it with a fork and push it back when he's done.
I think it should
yeah.
attack the fork.
And Billy will be like, "Yeah, just coffee, black, please. Maybe some whiskey." And see what happens.
Okay. So the coffee and whiskey actually taste like coffee and whiskey today. The special is uh, a steak, and the steak does in fact try and consume the fork that's on the plate. You see, it kind of opens up at you've got like a slab of meat right in the middle. It opens up and almost like it's got a jaw or something, and this tongue comes out and kind of licks at the fork and pulls it closer, and you see the tips of the tines of the fork go inside the meat, and it just very, very, very slowly, like, you don't see anything, You don't see me doing this. I'm not doing this. It's not happening as it tries to consume this fork so that you can't eat it.
Albion just lets the fork go, like pushes the plate back.
No, here,
I
you
hope
have
my
to do it in
meal
the
and
right place. And I take my fork and just, like, stab above it. You have to do it in the
Oh.
right place, Albie.
I
Excuse me
fear
while I
I
guide.
might not have the stomach for the
You guys
brutality
got
of
this figured
lunch
out. Huh?
today.
How successful is stabbing the steak above the mouth? With confidence.
Well, you would guess that it's fairly successful because two things happen. Number one, there's almost like a yelp that comes from the steak as you stab it. And number two, the fork stops getting swallowed. When you pull it back out, 2/3 of you know how the end of the fork you get the four tines or whatever.
Yep.
About 2/3 back from that is gone. And so you've got these really, really short tines and then a long fork.
Yeah. Albie
I think it's
just
safe to eat now.
I'm good, but I do appreciate your help here in this very important matter.
That's why I just ordered coffee. Seems complicated.
I'm afraid if I order coffee, it's not gonna be as successful as your order. So I'll just sit and drink this room temperature ice water they brought that's got something floating in it. I'm not sure what. Uh,
Oh no,
I'll
it
drink
looks
around it.
absolutely like ice, you know?
It's room
Oh no, I
temperature
meant
ice.
there's some foreign object in the floating on top of it all.
Oh
So it's
nice.
like
What does it look
I'll
like?
drink around it. It looks like a piece of like maybe lettuce or something, but Albion's too
You know, maybe they got that idea
afraid to.
from our world, you know, in Shadow, where the people put the thing a cucumber in, you know, the water or whatever. Maybe we're just expanding that. We can, you know, try lettuce or tomato or, you know, mango or steak or, you know, whatever, right? Just dump it in a thing of water. And
Are
That
you
sounds
suggesting we
delicious.
drown the steak too?
Steak water, delicious. I think Albion
asparagus.
is just gonna politely drink around the lettuce in his room temperature ice water and just stop stop trying to make it work.
Embrace the craziness.
Hmm.
Oh, I mean, Billy wants to know if how the coffee is.
Coffee's great.
All right.
It tastes like black coffee, you know, and the whiskey tastes just like whiskey, you know. It's like you'd
Perfect.
make it home.
We're in good shape.
I
It's like
order
mom's.
sandwich written upside down. Like on the menu, it's just a sandwich upside down.
Okay. When they bring that out, what you see is um, a a couple of slices of roast beef, right?
Mm.
And a slice of melted um, provolone
Alright.
surrounding a single piece of bread.
Alright. I imagine like I bite into it, and you know how normally a sandwich like that you would dip? The dip is already like inside. So you just bite into it and juice starts running out of it.
I just
I
hate
get
everything about this
behind that.
restaurant.
Very good. Very good.
Hey, at least the tables are on the ground this time.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. That's pretty good.
it happens. As I'm eating, you all can see that my hand is still like shattered, but only like halfway. Only like halfway instead of the whole thing. It's like just my fingers are like shattered. Not really taking any lengths to hide it.
Sterling, what's is that okay? Are you doing all right? Is there
Oh yeah,
anything I can do for you?
they do this. I just got a
That's like a
lot coming
normal
up.
thing. What?
Oh, normally it's worse.
What?
Like it can be my whole
Normally
arm.
it's
Or,
worse.
yeah,
Oh, that's terrible.
it
Is
it
there
doesn't
anything I
hurt.
can?
It's not a condition or anything. It's just what I can do.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense to
Like
me.
here, try punching me, and I'll hold up like my non-splintered hand.
Okay,
So I'll show
I
you.
We're in a cafe, having lunch. Try punching
I'm
my
like,
hand. Yeah.
all right, if that's what you want, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do anything for you. Sure. And I punch the hand.
As you do, um, the hand shatters into a bunch of blue fragments and kind of spread out, and it reforms after your hand retracts into a hand.
Oh, well, that's novel. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah,
That's just
just
a
stressed
thing that
out.
happens normally.
Just stressed out.
Okay, I got you.
It gets worse the more stressed I am.
Sure, sure. I get that this whole thing is stressful. Is there anything I can do? Um,
Oh, it's not the radio thing. I've got tests coming up, Vancy and stuff. Probably wouldn't get it, I'd imagine.
yeah, I'm probably not the best person to talk to about that. Um, but man,
I
if
hate
there's
to say
anything I
it,
can
but
do,
no, I've just got to study more, like usual.
all right. Well, if I can help you out, I will.
I appreciate the offer. I do.
Man, why are our conversations so like tilted? I think like we've been through a lot together, right? And um, I feel like it's on me. I would love to help you if I can. Um, and I understand that I can't do that right now, but
If I knew how you could help me, I would ask.
me too. Well, we're here.
We're
How's
here. I'm
everybody else
eating
doing?
this dripping sandwich. It's not
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just like drinking tons and tons of coffee because that's what Billy does.
It keeps refilling.
Well, I've been doing all right personally. Like I said, getting real old in Shadow. I'm curious to know what happens when you die in Shadow. Will I keep going back? Will I just stop going to Shadow altogether? Will I die? It's it's a little disconcerting, but we'll we'll see when the time comes. Life's full of mysteries.
Oh, that means
but
I'm probably getting old in Shadow too, aren't I?
not necessarily.
I mean,
From my understanding, everybody's experience has been pretty different from everybody else's.
Yeah, so is mine. I mean, I'll go back to Shadow every single night. And then I go to Shadow, and then I go to a whole maze of garbage that I hate. Um,
Yeah,
all in.
the thing that you notice, um, Billy, is that when you go back to Shadow, it feels like you live the same portion of your life over and over again. Like you don't
Oh,
age, you just go back and it's like Groundhog Day.
yeah. I mean, so quick question: like, when you go back to Shadow, do you do the same thing over and over again? Because that's kind of what happens to me. Or is it like different every time?
It kind of just picks up where I left off. I left Shadow after living through a war and a career and loveless marriage that fell apart, and managed to piece myself together a halfway decent life. And now when I go, I'm just kind of an old man. It's not bad. I go get the mail every day and uh, have nice sweaters that I can wear when it gets cold. But no,
Like I
it's
used to
different.
have those.
I mean, I kind of do the same thing every day, but that's just because my students don't get it. I don't think it's the same thing you're experiencing. Yeah, it's weird. I've come back in the middle of a math lesson and I just entirely forget what the lesson is supposed to be. Like, it, it's terrible. But the students enjoy it because they just give up, put on a movie.
What about you, Claire? What's your life in Shadow like?
Quiet. I remember it being quiet.
Hmm. When was the last time you got pulled back in?
I have no idea. I don't remember being pulled back in for a long time.
Well,
It's
Yeah,
interesting because you haven't. Of the four of you, Claire is the only one that has not been back to Shadow.
well, I don't know if you're lucky or jinxed.
Could he
Quiet
be
life
both?
sounds pretty nice.
yeah, neither do I. Uh, that's pretty strange. Of course, what's happened to me is too. But I also didn't realize Claire was here, and I was kind of like waiting for her to arrive. So, hi, Claire. But you never get pulled back ever.
Nope.
Hasn't happened once.
Nope.
I mean, there's something to investigate there.
Nope.
I mean, it happens to me like daily.
Well, I'm at work or at home, but no, I don't ever go back to Shadow. I don't really have a body to go back to. And she kind of gives this
Uh, sure.
strange grin.
I mean, at this point, that almost makes sense to me. I don't think I have a body to go back to either, but it happens every day.
Yes, you do.
Do I really feel like it's a different body? Because I think Billy is like the same in both places, except for black and white in
I'm trying to figure out how to
better.
describe this. So yeah, it's it feels like the the portion of you that's conscious, active, um, is inhabiting another body that looks just like yours. I mean, within reasonable approximations, right? The black and white thing is what it is, but it's still you look at your face in a mirror or something like that, and it's still Billy. When Albion goes back to the shadow, it's the same thing. He goes back and he's Albion. Yeah, he's advanced in age some. Um, in his case, probably more than either of you. But the things that happen when you go back to shadow, you're experiencing in a body that looks like yours. What Claire's saying is that when she goes, or um, when she came here, and she doesn't, uh, when other people go back to shadow, she doesn't go back to shadow. And the comment she made was that she doesn't have a body there.
Is that why you relate so much to the spirits that you used to live with?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So what happens when you die? You don't go back to shadow.
I see. That is reassuring,
You do
honestly.
have to wonder what happens to the shadow self, though.
Seriously. I mean, I feel like I've died several times. And I feel like I go back to shadow every day, every night.
You do.
So that's different.
Shadow has a
Yeah.
way of creeping into our psyche and figuring out the best way to keep us. And some of us, maybe it just doesn't want or need us, and it just lets us go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I would love to let that go. That was the worst. Uh, I would love to let that go, and here I am. This is much better sometimes.
Well, you said you had a question for me.
Oh yeah, I do. Well, um, yeah, let's get back on track. Like we have a whole plan here, and um, you're kind of a part of it. We haven't really talked about it. Everybody's here, so let's talk about the plan. Um, my question for you is, I can probably get you anything you need, like pots, little pieces, bits and bobs, Um, if I know what I'm getting the night before, I can probably just like bring it out because I can do that. Um, but before that, we should talk about what our overall plan is.
Well, uh, I'm really just the tech support here. I'm happy to try to piece this together, but I'm definitely no revolutionary. I don't know that I'm the one who's going to be using this thing. So
Sure.
if you
So,
guys have any ideas, I'm happy to work around those.
I mean, does anybody like, let's lay out the problem, right? We're gonna do a pirate radio thing. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. So I can I have ideas about like making that hidden so we don't get spied on and we don't get fucked in that way. But there's a lot there's a lot of moving parts here, right? So um how do we start this process? And you know, I, I can maybe like make it hidden, but that's about all I got. Like that's my contribution to the thing, but let's start planning the whole bit.
Now, Claire, your your old junker, does that thing run? I know it's a house now, but
When I put
have you
Screech
been
in
able
it,
to?
it does.
All right, might be able to use that as a mobile base of operations to build the thing.
Y- that's a really good idea. I think the let's maybe start from like the base because I can work on like making it disappear, making it hard to find. I can do that, but where do we start?
Well, I
Probably
suppose I could.
broadcasting equipment.
Right,
How
like
big,
Exactly.
how big it needs to be, what kind of stuff we're going to need to be able to broadcast.
right, like so we need to find or make like a way to broadcast it, and then I can probably find a way to make it invisible-ish or something. I have plans for that. But I mean that's like step 5 or something. So we got to start somewhere. We got to start with like a radio station, and we want to keep this going, right? We want this whole pirate radio thing we've got going on to keep going.
Well, I reckon I've got some schematics already drawn up. Uh, if you're able to get parts ready made, and I don't have to fabricate them, we could certainly start there. It's gonna need a lot of parts. You're gonna need to do a lot of dreaming, unfortunately, but I think we'll be able to handle some of that. I've been also reaching out to a maker friend of mine to uh, see if I can't find a mentor to help me with fabricating uh, the kinds of pieces we'll need anyway. That'd be helpful too. I'd, uh, maybe get you to dream up some of the more complicated pieces if you're able to do that, and if we build it
That's no problem.
inside of Claire's home, we'll have seems like we'll have plenty of space. It keeps getting bigger, she says. Maybe
Oh,
take up a room in there for all the equipment, and and then maybe another room for, for the power source. And then if we can get that thing up and running, we've got a mobile base of operations. And then from there, it's really just a matter of who's going to do the broadcasting.
I'm working on hiding it at the like the end game pot. Like I'm working on hiding it. But if we can get if we can get the whole thing built, and Sterling, you can probably help with this. If we can get the whole thing built, then maybe I can work on hiding it. I think that's the one thing I'm going to be good at. But we have to
My
build
friend, you're
the
good at so
infrastructure.
many. Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think the schematics are in place. I think we can start trying to work on creating the equipment. But I don't think that'll take more than a couple of months. Once we got it together, I think. What's the plan then? I mean, somebody's going to have to be our broadcaster. And what is our movement even about? I mean, I understand fundamentally what the movement is about, but how do we get others to believe? How do we get other people to join our way of thinking?
I don't think it's gonna be so much trying to get them to believe as just providing them information. Um, I was thinking maybe I just summon people from, the gray to talk about their lives before they died, maybe summon a couple that were actors and have them act out some of the plays from the book that upset certain people, and maybe summon some of the angels and demons and letting them tell their stories.
Very well. Well, I can certainly start working on this equipment. I'll be honest, I'm a little intimidated having seen what happened to. Can't even remember her name anymore. I wonder if the Thaw were able to just erase her. But if we're able to pull this off, I don't want to end up like that woman we watched get dragged away by the Thaw. Doesn't appeal to me one bit.
So we need to
Yeah,
make sure it's
I don't
mobile and
either.
hidden. They can't drag us away if they can't catch us.
No, that's true.
That's very true.
Uh,
However, making sure we're able to anticipate their moves and keep them at arm's length is another matter entirely. They are
sure,
the
you're
Thaw.
right.
They they appear out of nowhere and they disappear into nowhere. It's hard to anticipate what you can't predict.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. But maybe we delegate. So
Do any of
I
us
don't
even
really
know
have
how
to
a radio
spend.
station works?
You might.
Actually, Albion does. He
Oh, that yeah.
he
Duh.
toured a radio station in the Fade.
Yeah, Albion's got the schematics and all of that stuff ready to go. He just needs to start uh, getting the pieces and parts together. He's reluctant to try to buy them because that will certainly draw attention to the kind of thing that he's working on, and he'd rather keep a low profile on that front. So he's reaching out to someone to learn how to start creating some of the stuff that he'll need, some of the more mundane pieces and parts. Uh, but yeah, he's it's going to be a slow go for
Sure.
getting the equipment together because there's not just lots of ready-made etheric transmission
No.
equipment just laying around. So
And
yeah, but he's got
Billy will
that
assist
plan.
by grabbing parts. Yeah, Billy will assist from like by grabbing parts and like the weird parts that you need. I can grab them from
Yep.
the deeps of sleep and bring them into existence. Like the things that you can't find from a store. So we can make a plan that way. But then we have like the whole like how are we going to like implement this? Like like what are we doing? Like flyers? Are we just doing the broadcast? Like what like and that's where I think you two should be involved also.
Which two are you
Because
two?
oh, sorry.
Sterling.
Yeah, Joanna and Chris. I think this is a like everybody plays weird, complicated plan, and Billy's skills are going to be on hiding it. But and then Albion's skills are going to be on making it possible in the first place by actually creating the infrastructure. But then we have to promote it. We have to get it out there so that everybody hears it. Um, and Claire, um, I mean, theater, all of that stuff, right? Like you ran a theater sort of or lived there, whatever, but you know how that works. So, um, advertising it, like there's a lot of this is a very complicated plan. This is the most
Yeah.
complicated plan in a game ever. It's crazy. I love it.
Yes,
Yeah.
Claire did have some experience from the theater, um,
Mhm,
doing some promotion there, and she also had some from Shadow.
mhm.
Absolutely. Right. And um I think we all play here because there's so much going on. There is so much to do. Billy has like one element of it. Let's all just like can we all just go to like a diner and sit down and talk and like make a plan? Let's do that.
Well, you're in a diner and you're talking, and it sounds like you're planning. So I would assume the answer to that's yes.
Now, Sterling, you've been pretty good at finding the kind of research materials that have led us here in the first place. Do you think that? I know we found a lot of stuff at Mentor's Square, but surely in the Vancian libraries, there's got to be some kind of information. And I'll be honest, I don't have any faith that any of the orders aren't involved in the cover up. But even those people can't hide all of the knowledge all of the time, do you think there's a way that you could lay hands on the information that we've all forgotten and that's being kept from us? I've never been to the library on the Vancian campus, but
It would be an
surely you would
interesting
know.
search, but I could amass myself and a few people to help, and we can probably crack into something. Something that slips through one person's knowledge may exist in another's.
And Billy,
Absolutely, that's amazing.
do you think, Billy, that somewhere in the deeps of sleep might be journals or stories written
I wouldn't be surprised.
from before the war?
Yeah.
And I
Wouldn't be
You've
can
surprised
keep
at
also
all.
you've also got access to dream globes.
You-
I can keep
so- sorry, Josh. For me, at least, you cut out like halfway through that sentence, and so I got
That's-
half of it.
That's okay. You've also got access to dream globes.
Right, right. From the
at
yeah.
the Dreamery.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. So I can definitely look into that. There's a good chance I can find us something.
I mean, I can spend some of my free time trying to track down the information, but I do feel like creating this equipment is going to take up the vast majority of my time.
Sure, sure. I think you should focus on that. You know, I can spend most of my time like looking into it, looking into the history of it, and I can probably find some interesting things. I have a couple different ways to access it, so
Seems like something's coming together.
yeah, I think so.
But with something like this, I hesitate to put too many eggs in any given basket at this point.
Sure,
Seems
sure.
like it's a work in progress.
On that note, I'm going to have all four of you make a perception check.
Wow,
Shoot.
that's an 8.
I will throw down a bene for you. That's a 4.
All right, so 4 and 8, a 5, and Albion, what do you got?
3. I got a 3.
A 3.
Big
Okay.
3.
The 5 and the 8, so Claire and Billy. As the four of you are talking, you notice off in the corner of the cafe a diminutive man is eating a sandwich, and as he does, every 10-15 seconds he looks up and looks at the four of you, and then his eyes quickly go back down.
Yeah. So I'm like very quickly like, oh, you see that? Did I say that too quietly?
You can mute your voice and
Billy nudges Claire, and Claire, you see that?
Yeah, I think
We kind of
should
have a
go.
thing. You think we
Maybe
should
we
go?
should go for a walk.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, we could go for a walk and see who follows us, etc.
and with that, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
All right.
All right, welcome back. We are sitting in the Inconvenient Cafe, drinking coffee and having some weird lunches, and noting that our conversation has attracted some attention. What do you do?
Well, I suppose Sterling and I could head off toward the Vancian campus, and Billy and Claire could go uh, elsewhere, and we could see who he follows.
I think the "What do you do?" also had somebody is watching us. And I think
I
you
have an
noticed
out of
it,
character
not me.
question. When Claire summons, how noticeable is it?
Very.
Okay.
Invisible sun summoning, like it's gonna take like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's a big production.
But I could sneak off to the bathroom for 10 minutes, is what I'm hearing.
Sure.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna say, give me 10 minutes, I'll be back. And then I'm gonna head for the bathroom.
Okay, you head for the bathroom. What are we doing?
Let's be clear, just so everybody is clear. Who knows we're being watched?
Billy
Billy and Claire, I believe.
Claire.
And Billy just
Okay.
told you to.
So, and I was kind of talking to Alvy. We should have a code word for this, guys.
This is all new to us. Suppose we could make one up after this.
Yeah, this will be the first.
Stop talking about jelly beans.
So, make me roll something. Maybe I'm gonna look at Albie and Sterling really quick. Just like give a look, like this is not okay. With like somebody is looking at us. Like just a really quick swivel around, look at them thing, and I want to see how that goes.
Okay. You You know what? I'm
Yeah.
not going to make you roll for it. It's not. You catch their eye, and you guys
It's
have been
Billy's thing. So
you guys have been together enough that they understand. Yeah, it's
I'll
one of
be
those
in.
you look directly at them, and then your eyes flicker off to the side real quick, and then you look back at them.
yeah,
And
so you guys
they
just
know.
gotta like, nope, stop talking. I just go like, and they know what that means.
All right, is the bathroom empty?
The bathroom is empty.
Okay. Is it one of those like single stall bathrooms, or is it like a bathroom with like 5 or 6 stalls?
It's a single stall bathroom. The Inconvenient Cafe isn't a very big production. It's got, 5, 6 tables, tops. So yeah, it's a single stall.
All right, I'm going to lock the door behind me, and then I'm going to make my little protective circle, and then I'm going to summon a sprite. One of those little fairy sprites that can go invisible at will.
Okay. How are you going to persuade said sprite?
I am going to offer it money. 20 orbs plus the opportunity of, I don't know, giving it a shiny object of shininess.
Okay.
A glitter pin. I'm going to offer it a glitter pin.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So my magic was a 1. My spell casting was a 7.
There is a bright shimmering in front of you, and you see it's like looking at Peter Pan, but with wings.
Excellent.
It looks at you for a second and says, "What? Stop staring. Don't stare at me. They're
You're,
tights. Haven't you ever seen tights before?
are they manly tights?
Of course they're manly tights."
Excellent. So I will offer you 20 orbs plus this glittery pin I have if you'll do me 2 favors.
The fairy inches closer, and his eyes are they're trying to hold on you, but they keep flicking to the pen.
Yeah, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna, make a little mark on a piece of paper with the pen, and it's a glitter pen. It's bright and sparkly, and
And then he quickly tries to put that expression away, but he's very, very excited.
do we have a deal? And no, it's not combat. I don't need you to attack anybody. What I want you to do is spy on someone for me. Um, follow them around for a bit invisibly, discover who they're talking to and why they're spying on me, and then report back to me with what information you have. Do we have a deal, my pretty handsome friend?
He kind of paces back and forth. It looks like he's walking on something, but he's walking in midair, and he paces back and forth. And as he's doing so, he stops every so often and he looks at the pen, and then he starts pacing again, almost like he wants to try and say no, but he can't because he wants the pen. um fine, whatever. Just give me the pen. Give me the pen.
Excellent working with you. And she's going to hand him the pen. And if you're really good and give me plenty of information, I can set you up with more pens of different colors.
And he kind of puts that away too. He turns away from you, and you can see his arms moving, almost like he's stroking the pen, like my precious, you know. It vanishes, and he turns back to you. Who's this? Who's this that you want me to watch? Who am I spying on? Who am I trying to follow? Who am I?
I will point him out to you as we leave. I don't know his name, which is why I'm confused as to why he's spying on me. Just a little, and she'll move her hand like she's lifting it at her side to point. That way you can see him and follow him without me actually just, you know, letting him know he's going to be followed.
Ah, so we're being clever. We're being clever. I understand. I understand. I'll be clever. And he slowly fades out of view, except for his eyes. They linger just a little bit, and you see kind of mischief in them. And then they're gone too.
Okay, she's gonna go out and she's gonna point out the guy, and as she walks back to the table, kind of, and then rubs her hands together. All right, shall we go for a walk then?
Absolutely. Why don't Sterling? Why don't you show me that paper you're working on at the campus, and perhaps we'll meet up with Claire and Billy a bit later for cocktails. I could use a whiskey right now, but I guess I can hold off a little bit longer.
All right. So Sterling, you and Albion are going to the Vancey campus. Claire and Billy, where are you headed?
Yeah,
Wherever
I was
Billy
just
wants to go.
talking to Claire, so I'm right with her.
All right, I figure we'll just go for a stroll and maybe go head back over towards the fade and look at the car and maybe look around to see if there's like secondary places we could set up the transmission stations.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. You hop on a train to go back to the Fade, and the gentleman gets on that train, but on a different car.
She'll lean over and Claire's gonna lean over to Billy and murmur, "Snoop onto them as they snoop onto us. I've got a friend keeping an eye on him."
When you arrive in the Fade, you get off and walk, I'm assuming, towards your car.
Kind of circularly, English, circularly. Maybe stroll towards
Circularly.
that lighthouse that we saw before and see if it's still there.
It is. You can
know?
actually see it from the train station. It's one of the more
Yeah,
prominent
and
features of the Fade.
Yeah, I
yeah,
figure we'll
and
start
Claire and I
strolling
are
towards that.
are-
Because if the guy's following us, I don't necessarily want to lead him straight back to my house.
Makes sense. You head off towards the lighthouse, and as you reach the lighthouse, you spend some time, kind of nonchalantly peeking behind you and trying to watch him, right? Um, you know, building windows and things like that, the old spy tricks. And he's following you and he's following you, and then as you approach the lighthouse, you see him veer off. And he does not follow you to the lighthouse. The lighthouse is still there. The area where the car was is now full of grass, even though it's only been a couple of days. So the grass that was growing up and around the sides of the car is now straight, and it looks almost like a field of it, for lack of a better way to say it. But it doesn't look like anybody's there.
How tall? So the lighthouse is really tall, right?
I
I'm
see
gonna go up
this
and knock on the
too.
door because I just had an idea.
Okay. You knock on the door of the lighthouse. The door
I think for
is
fun, Billy is like, hey, you really think that's a good idea? Maybe just okay.
the door is solid metal, and the outside of it appears to be rusted, almost like um, what happens to metal around sea salt after it's overexposed. But this isn't anywhere near the ocean. There's no water around. This is on the edge of the fade, and it's the blue, but it's not ocean. There's something else going on here. You knock on the door, and the door opens. It's a very loud, very creaking kind of a uh, hinge rubbing on hinge, metal rubbing on metal, rusted metal rubbing on rusted metal kind of a sound.
Claire will make a face and then peer inside. Is the place empty?
The place appears to be empty, but as you open it up, there's a torch that actually lights up. It's when I say torch, it's more of a lantern, but it's made to look like an actual torch. Um, so the flame approximates flame, but you can tell it's fake.
Okay.
And it's just a large circular room. There's a staircase going up around the outside.
I wonder how good we could broadcast from the roof. What do you think, Billy? Should we investigate?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. Yeah, we should probably do that. It seems like a pretty good investment. It's solid. Let's do it.
Claire's gonna go in.
You walk into the lighthouse, and as you move further past the door closes.
Can I open the door?
You walk over to the door and tug on it, and it opens again.
Okay. Just making sure I didn't get trapped in the creepy lighthouse.
Yep.
Would I
I
do
was
that?
making sure we
And a heartbeat with a
maybe.
broad smile and a giggle.
I'm hurt. Okay, no, I'm not hurt, but I could be hurt, you know. You start up the stairs, and it goes for a ways. It's a tall lighthouse.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
be checking for any rooms that are open that I can peek into.
the the staircase goes up through what look like several floors, and as you go up through each one of them, there's another one of those fake-ish torches that lights up. There's the entryway at the bottom, and then there's what looks to be almost like a galley is the next floor that you approach. And then as you keep climbing up this, I mean, there's no hatch or anything like that. You just keep climbing the stairs. And then there's what looks to be an old bedroom. And the bed is it's not made. It's disheveled, and there's a chair, a four-legged wooden chair, that's tipped to the side, just laying on the floor. And then as you go up further, there's the level where the actual light is. Well, actually, just before that, there's a level where it's like supply stores. So you have wicks, and you have the things that you would need to run the lighthouse. There's a replacement mirror. There's or lens, I should say, things like that, right? And then there's a ladder along the wall that goes up and out. And that's the only thing that has a hatch on it. But as you climb the ladder and you push on the hatch, it opens. And it lets you out to the outside of a circular glass room that houses the lantern, with a metal, almost a fence around it, that it's got a door. It's a small glass door. The light is not on. And there's dust there that looks like it hasn't been on for a very long time.
Okay, Claire is going to look around and run a finger through the dust and make a face, and then look at Billy and go, I think we found where we could broadcast the best from. With this kind of height, we'd get clear signal all the way out.
Yeah, that doesn't seem bad. Let's do it.
Okay. As you are heading back downstairs, down the ladder, your little diminutive friend shows up.
Excellent.
And he appears and he's fluttering around, and you see his leg was mangled. His green trousers are stained red on his left leg.
What happened, my friend?
Man went to, and he points. The direction that he points is a one that's familiar to you. If you recall, you went looking for a friend of Rainey's and found your way to a carnival.
Okay.
He's pointing directly towards it.
Okay. Did he go to a specific booth? Did he go to a specific building?
House in the center. That house is wrong. It's wrong. It doesn't belong there. It's wrong.
Thank you for sharing with me. Are you okay? Are you going to be okay?
Must rest.
Rest with my blessing, my friend.
And he vanishes. And we lost Kelton. So, okay. Albion Sterling. You head to the Vancian campus. As you find your way there, You do not notice being followed. What are you doing?
Feel like if Albie notices that they're not being followed, he might or they're not being followed, he would be inclined to kind of stop and make sure that they're not, and then maybe start following uh, Billy and Claire again to make sure they're okay. He really just
Oh,
wanted to split up to see who this man was trying to follow.
okay. Um, you kind of do a roundabout and you manage to follow. Then I'm assuming you're going to get on the train as well.
We'd probably take the next train. And
Okay.
we'd probably be about 20 minutes behind them.
Okay.
I'd
So
imagine it would take us fully 25 minutes to catch up.
you head to the Fade as well. And by the time you get there, they have left the train station and you do not see them.
Maybe head toward Claire's home to see if they went there.
So you head back to your place and Claire's home, which is right next to it, and they are not there.
Well, I figure after Claire gets the information, she's going to take Billy and lead him back to their house.
Okay. It if you hang out there for probably another half an hour, you'll probably be there long enough to see Claire and Billy when they get back.
See. When no one is there, Albie would ask Sterling, now, I feel like they could be in trouble. Do you have any idea of where they might have gone, or do you have any kind of spells that might help us find them?
All I've really got is maybe this, and I kind of crouch down, and I'll set out my hand. My eye lights up. Do any spiders seem to be around?
There's always spiders around. Yeah, sure.
I'll call for the nearest one.
Okay. He crawls up on your hand.
Did you
What is your wish?
Did you see a woman and a man? And I'll describe Claire and Billy. Did you see them leave here?
I did not.
Fair enough. Maybe they never showed up here. Maybe they got sidetracked.
Oh, that's concerning. If there's no way to follow, maybe if we stick around long enough, they'll head this way. Maybe they just had to shake their tail.
Maybe.
In a film noir sort of sense, not in a clubbing sort of sense.
You're reading my mind again.
I'm reading your face.
All right. So, yeah, you wait around and they do eventually show up. Um, so yeah, the four of you are at your and Claire's house.
uh, Now, you say that this sprite was damaged, injured when it came back to you. I think Claire's frozen on mine.
Yeah, I think she's frozen. Let's hang on just a second, see if it comes out of it. Yay for technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm. It's a phone.
It's a phone.
It's a phone.
Yeah, my laptop decided it was done and needed to be rebooted. So I rebooted it, and now I don't know if it's actually working.
Right.
So now I lost you at we arrived back at the house.
The four of you are at the house, and Albion is talking about your sprite friend, which I'm assuming you told them about.
Yes. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You say this sprite when it came back to you was injured.
Yes. You remember when we went to the carnival to find Rainy's friend? And you remember that really creepy house in the middle of the carnival that we were like, no, we're not going anywhere near that because no, that's a big case of nope. Evidently, the guy went in there.
That seems.
Spoopy.
Hmm.
I don't like it.
Well, he'll have to come out at some point if he's trying to track us.
Yeah.
Perhaps next time we confront him a bit more directly.
Yeah, I was just mainly concerned that he was like a friend of the Thaw because I didn't want to try and, confront somebody that's a friend of the Thaw because that's not okay. But
Hard to
Billy
say.
and I did come up with an idea. That lighthouse? What if we use
know
that lighthouse as a secondary broadcasting area, like a booster signal, to where we've got the main one and then we've got the secondary one, and then if they go to find us, they'll find the secondary one first. Give us like a heads up, a warning type thing.
I could see that being a very effective strategy to keep them off our back, at least for a little while.
Nobody's
That
in
would,
there,
however,
and there's like
require us to have quite a bit more equipment.
Yeah,
But
but equipment's not that hard to get, and I'd rather have multiple places where we're broadcasting from than have them actually find us, you know? Because I don't want to disappear through a weird portal of creepiness.
I mean, it's fine and well to say equipment's not that hard to get, but I'm the one that's got to make it. So,
Faith in you. You're going to do a great job because I have faith in you.
indeed, it's just a matter of, the time it takes. But yeah, I think we could, if we're clever, could find a way to set up a series of bases that would be
That's a
sending
great
out the
idea.
same etheric signal, and perhaps keep 7 or 8 of these places on the books to use when we need someone to look the other way. I could see that working. I think that's a very good idea. Again, it's just a matter of logistics making it happen. Will require a good deal of resources and some time.
We got the money Kudash gave us, so that'll help.
Kudash gave us money.
Yeah, we looted a bunch of stuff. Well, he gave
Oh.
us the key to a lockbox that had a bunch of stuff that we could
I see.
use to sell for money.
Okay.
Willie's got the list of stuff that was in there because
I
he's
see.
better at keeping track of stuff like that.
Very well.
Say, Albie, you said it would take you a few months to produce the equipment, right?
By my reckoning, it would probably take, for something as potent as we're looking for to get the signal out, it would take fairly large broadcasting station. And if we're looking to do that, I would say I need to spend a little time brushing up on my skills. Even in Shadow, it was a long time since I was working on any kind of equipment like that, and I was never exactly creating the parts from whole cloth. So I'd say at least 2 months, maybe a little longer. Might be able to shave a few days off of that, but there's no guarantee of that.
Do you have the schematics with you?
Well, I mean, they're right inside my house.
Mind if I take a look at them?
Not at all. Yeah, I go to the door and unlock it and invite everyone inside.
Okay. You all go inside and you've got the schematics. So
All right.
as far as game mechanics go, I'm going to agree with you. The actual construction of that many sites and that many devices is going to take you months, not days. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we could probably do a bit of a time jump, but
I think I'll need a bit of a time jump when it comes time for it. 'Cause I'm
I'd
gonna
like
have to
to use some hidden
increase.
knowledge on the schematics, though.
okay. What are you looking to do?
Let's say since this is kind of a slightly more mundane vice than what's actually in the actuality, for the most part. My wife back in Shadow was an engineer, and a bit of it like rubbed off, so I'm wondering if there's like any parts I see that could make it a bit more potent or a bit more efficient to make either one. And just kind of combined with the math knowledge.
All right. Go ahead and spend a hidden knowledge. What I'll say is, yes, there are some special tools that would make the process go faster. As far as parts go, that's not likely. The type of broadcasting equipment that he's talking about is very specialized. What works in Shadow does not really work here.
I'm just thinking of stuff like maybe if you rotate part of it a little bit, you know, it would be a little stronger or a little more coverage.
I'll give you that there's going to be some efficiency that you can gain, perhaps.
Okay, yeah,
It's
I'll
not
just
going to
kind
be
of
much.
I'll draw out like tiny adjustments, like really subtle, like 1 degree adjustments on some of the equipment.
That works.
But it might cover, 1 or 2 more places. Or 1 or 2 more in the right direction.
That works.
And then I'll just like point those out to Albie while I'm drawing them, like, oh, you could turn that just a bit more and it would hit a housing development that's more likely to tune into the radio.
Excellent. Yeah, that's. Thank you. I'm looking through the schematics and writing my own notes here and there, and then I said, "Well, I'm not sure what. I feel very comfortable leaving these behind now that we know we have a tail. I think I might need to keep these on my person for the time being, and I will find myself a briefcase in my piles and piles of stuff."
All right. So you have a briefcase.
And I slip the schematics in, and I say, "Well, I'll just plan to keep this on my person for the foreseeable future till we get this stuff squared away." And what are you two going to be working on?
I believe Claire was working on finding ways to publicize, to market, to get people to listen to the broadcast. And I believe Chris was going to look at finding other content, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, Albie lets you guys know that he's been looking to apprentice with somebody, but they don't live around here. And so I'll likely be out of touch with all of you guys for at least a month or so. But when I get back, ideally, I will be able to start working on this stuff pretty intently. And from there, ideally, it won't take more than a month, maybe a month and a half to get everything together, and then from there, the alternate broadcast devices to set up around Saturnine will take a bit more time to create, but I do believe it should be possible. So, yeah, but I'm going to be out of the world for at least a month. I think it's probably for the best anyway. Keep a low profile for the next little bit until we feel like any tails have been thrown off our scent.
Okay. I'm guessing I know what you're talking about doing. Do you want to just handle that as a side scene then?
Yeah.
Okay. We can do that. I think that's what we'll end on, at least as far as today goes. And then come 2 weeks from now, we'll fast forward quite a bit. I think we need to have a couple of side scenes. I think we need to do the one you and I, Albion, and I think I need to do one at least with Claire. There's some things with Heber that need to happen, and then if you want to be around, Chris, we can do a little bit with your exams.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll make plans to do those, and then we'll reconvene in 2 weeks. If you can't wait that long for more Invisible Sun goodness, Manapot Studios is back, and they are running The Hole in the World on opposite Sundays from us. So go check them out. GM and cast is fantastic. We love them. We are tonight. We have the Citadel Lounge is open, and we have a special guest coming. That's going to be a fun conversation, and one that's actually quite personally useful to me. We're going to talk about something that I need to work on. So anyway, I'm hoping to get some advice. So yay. Other than that, we're still going to be streaming video games, although we're probably going to be doing that on Wednesdays, it looks like, to where we can do that with Joanne at home. Any shout outs for you, Jeff or Chris?
No, not personally, but I'm looking forward to continuing in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm
All
excited
right.
Seeing where
to
we
see where this
landed.
goes.
What was that, Chris? Sorry.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
Me too. Me too. So then we'll figure out what's going on with Kelton as well, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. From our Citadel to yours, happy gaming.